So we're live.
We are live. We are up. We are live. We are streaming. Nobody's here yet. We'll give them a minute.
That's
I
pretty
will get
broad.
on.
So we're live. We are live.
Oh,
And we'll take care of that echo. That's set. See, this, this,
got
is,
him
this is why we
mute.
do this. This is why we start small.
Yes. Well, eventually we'll all get set up. Well, I'll get set up. You guys are pretty
Oh
much
yeah, no,
set
this
up.
is my. It's funny. I don't leave this room at this point because I'm working from home. I basically am in here about 10 hours a day doing Skypes or Zooms, and yeah, it's pretty much. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm editing or doing stuff like this. I just crushed out a new episode of the
Is that
podcast earlier this evening.
a quarter sawn door behind you, or is that bird's eye maple? What is that?
I believe it is maple. I believe all the doors we have here are maple. Because I've got there's
Okay.
another one over here for the closet, and then that's the
Uh,
room door. Oh yeah, no, our house it's interesting. It's like was 1834 or so. It was built. Yeah,
that's old.
it's one of those good old Vermont farmhouses with all the good old Vermont farmhouse problems. Hey,
Hidden
we got
within
hidden with
myself. Hello.
myself. All right, our first viewer of the night. It's the little victories, man.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight's episode is about what?
It's about battles, man. Versus.
Versus. Exactly. So it's like mythical characters versus other characters.
Yes. And trying to keep them from the same world. So nobody really cares if Batman and the Green Lantern go at it. It's more about like Batman and Iron Man. Crossover power.
Yes.
So
okay, that's going to be awesome.
Yes, no, this should be a good one. I feel like we have been brainstorming all week to come up with this list. I feel like it's a good, solid list, and we will do our regular stuff, and then we'll get into it. So
I'm gonna have to duck out here in a second and get my tea.
Okay, yeah, we can do that because
that.
I think Ethan's got the news handled here.
All right, and Ethan, give
The
us the
tech news.
tech news.
Come on, what's the nerdy news?
What is nerdy and news? Well, I'm really currently interested to see. This is not really news, but this could be hypothetical news. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with like iPhones and all of the different Apple products specifically because they're making everything in China, like basically everything. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to have supply issues coming up here this quarter. That's something I'm kind of interested to pay attention to, though I haven't actually heard anything about it recently. I did hear that Elon Musk bought a bunch of ventilators to give to I forget whom, California. And as of today, none of them have been delivered. So I guess
I think the only reason you wanted to create this segment was so you could have a segment to like hate on Elon Musk. Like you wanted like every week, I just want like 5 minutes to get on my soapbox and just throw poo at Elon Musk. Let's go.
The reality is I don't dislike Elon Musk. I think he's fine. I do think he's definitely a bit of a hype man though, which is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Businesses need that, generally speaking. But yeah, I did hear that, which I thought was kind of funny. I also heard that Amazon is, or at least somebody is throwing around the idea. I was reading an article here today about like, what if Jeff Bezos just buys the U.S. Postal Service? And I thought, well, that's interesting. But apparently that's being tossed around, which is yeah, I don't know quite know what to think about
In this day and age, don't realize that the U.S. Postal Service is not owned by the government.
Right. No, it's separate
Private.
entity. Yeah. which could make it susceptible to a purchase by someone with deep pockets like Jeff Bezos. So yeah, it's very possible.
So just like the Federal Reserve is not owned by the government either, it's also a entity. But see, they use these things like federal, U.S. post office, and it's like, oh, it's all part of the government. No.
All right, I had one other nerdy news item. I actually was paying attention this week and was thinking about it. So I was reading this article about how when sort of all the social distancing stuff starts to wane down, what you're going to find is a lot of establishments are going to have like infrared cameras out. And they're going to use those infrared cameras to scan people as they're coming in to say if whether or not they have a temperature. So as a way to sort of control like disease spread, basically say, oh, Ethan's got the flu, he can't come in. So it's going to become like a new way that people could get barred from an establishment in the name of trying to prevent outbreaks. But it kind of seems very like, wow, this is like the next step to the New World Order. We're not too far away here.
Yeah, that seems not right to me, But we'll see what happens, right?
Right, but think about it, right? Like 40 years ago, the idea of having a metal detector to go into somewhere, or like a body scan thing, like at the airport to go in somewhere, would have seemed ridiculous. But now that's just what you do.
Yeah, if you would have told me when I was a little tiny lad back in the 80s that when I was like my dad's age, I would walk through a machine. Anytime I want to get on a plane, I'd have to walk through a machine where some random person would look at my naked body through my clothes. I wouldn't have believed it. I'd have been like, what? What kind of a weird, creepy future is this? But that is the future we live in.
It is true.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I think at some point people will kind of put their foot down, honestly. And maybe they won't, but I feel like there are lines people aren't willing to have crossed. Most of the time, it's unless you're a business traveler, you travel all the time. Most people aren't flying all the time, and so they don't have to deal with it regularly. But if you do something like what the TSA has done, in my opinion, and let's say you do it to 90% of the population, I don't know that that's going to fly. But I could be wrong. But I feel like we as Americans are too rebellious, kind of in our DNA.
Maybe.
But yeah, maybe not.
We've seen whether or not it's true, Kate. I'm just saying, like, if you mix in a little fear, everyone seems to be really compliant. Just saying. I'm not saying that they don't have anything real to be afraid of, but I'm just saying, like, as soon as the virus came on the table, it was like, stay home, do this, don't do this. Everyone's like, sir, yes, sir, whatever you say. So I'm not. This is not an argument on whether or not the virus is. I don't want to go there. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just saying, like, a virus shows up, which makes people afraid. The government says do this. We're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, I went grocery shopping this weekend and I wore a face mask for no other reason than they tell you to wear a face mask. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there are certain things that I guess would just, like, I guess for us it just hasn't been a big deal so far. I don't know. We stay at home.
Well, no,
all the time.
In Arkansas, it's been one of the least affected states. We still don't even have a mandatory stay at home.
Yeah.
Our state has not enforced any quarantine by the government.
Now, Vermont has now become famous, though, for the fact that you can't buy seeds at Walmart anymore. Like, they have it, like, X'd off.
Is it just at Walmart?
No, so it's everywhere. Like, so
Michigan,
all the stores can't sell, like, non-essential things. So, like, if they have essential things, they can sell those items, but everything else is, like, they got, like, police tape wrapped around it and stuff. That's why I go shopping in New Hampshire, which is just easy enough for us.
You rattle.
Yeah.
Homesteading.
So if you had like a feed co-op, they're closed.
They're closed to in-store activity. Like, so businesses can still run, but they can't have like the public coming into it. So like you could do your mail order business for your seed store, but you couldn't do like in person come in and buy stuff.
Interesting.
Now, a lot of stores here, restaurant-wise, like any kind of coffee shop, restaurants, inside is closed mandatorily. Yeah. And now every other store, some have just shut down because no one's shopping anyways, and they're doing it all online. But the other stores like Home Depot, you're having this like, they're keeping track of the numbers of who's in the store, and they're only letting certain numbers in. And so you have to like, so that's kind of how they're managing the other one. But I mean, other than that, like for the most part, I mean, I just drove through Conway today, coming back from that lumber mill, which is basically I only had to stop at a gas station, and I mean, like I said, other than decreased traffic, everything seemed fairly normal.
Nah. All right, guys, let's get into our topic of the night.
Let's move on.
The battles.
Moving on.
All right, and I know I was trying to work this out over text, but the way I think this should work is this. For each one of these battles that we're going to talk about, one of us will take one side, the other will take the other side, and then the third person will play referee to say who's got the more persuasive argument here. So nothing will be left undecided. Okay. And so our first matchup is Batman versus Iron Man.
Well, I'm taking Iron Man.
Okay, then Morgan has to take Batman.
All right, I'll do that. I'll do that. All right, let's go. So the case for Batman versus Iron Man is a poor one, but
you lose. At least we're on the same page in that regard.
But effectively, here is the argument: Batman and Superman have both battled multiple times. And in several of those battles, Batman has defeated Superman. And in terms of the idea of Iron Man being more powerful than Superman, I would feel like I could easily make that case that Superman is a better match and Superman can easily take Iron Man. But because Batman has defeated Superman based on his intelligence and his capabilities as an inventor, he's the Tony Stark of the DC world when you think about it in certain settings.
Yeah, he's a poor Tony Stark. I get it.
I don't know. That's about as convincing an argument as I can come up with.
I'm saying it's not bad. It's just not enough. Okay, because the thing is that if you put Superman into the Marvel universe, Iron Man will figure out how to defeat him. I mean, seriously, you wrote in a weakness. So you're telling me like let me just get this straight. Batman has to battle Superman, so he goes and takes kryptonite and makes it into a spear or a sword and tries to stab him. Iron Man would literally just turn it into some kind of nano weapon, or just mystify it and kill him with a cloud, kill him with a kryptonite laser.
Just a batarang right into Tony Stark's power heart majig.
I saw Superman. Literally, he would have Superman sushi. He'd have Superman kebabs. He'd have any way you want Superman. He could serve it up to you. Like that's what Superman can do. Okay, he freaking took all the Infinity Gems and defeated Thanos, which. Thanos seemed like a pretty bad way to He took on Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man at the same time with no Infinity Gems and beat them for the most part. Like, that's an equivalent of Superman, in my opinion. Maybe not all with all the special tricks, but as far as, like, strength and, like, undefeatability, it's not bad. I mean, honestly, he died less times than Superman did.
All right, Ethan, make a call.
Oh, man. Well, I have to say that Morgan's argument was very convincing. Here's how I will say it. I think that Batman has a puncher's chance against Iron Man.
Do you know why?
But average fight, Iron Man wins. So I've got to give it to Jeremiah.
All right.
I think your arguments were great. You had a good point. He could win sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes Batman would win. But, like, out of 10 fights, he wins one or two.
Listen, if Batman had an edge, it would be because he'd be willing to kill somebody.
All right, let's go. Let's go to another one here. Another Gotham City crime fighter versus an Avenger. Robin versus Hawkeye.
I take Hawkeye.
All right, Hawk. You got Robin?
No, I'm not doing Robin. I hate Robin.
All right, I'll take. For some reason, I'm like
the worst super. Honestly, the best version of Robin is Teen Titans.
All right, let me try to take Robin in this. Well, I'm right. So number one, let's look at Hawkeye here. Hawkeye is the weakest Avenger. I mean.
I think Black Widow's
Black
the weakest
Widow.
one.
All right. I mean, okay, coin toss between the two, but they're both far and away the weakest Avengers. He's accurate with an arrow. That's like his thing, and he's an okay fighter, I guess, maybe. Meanwhile, Robin could be flipping and gymnasticking and using all of his heritage as like an acrobat to out-defeat and outmaneuver. We're not talking like, I mean, come on, man. I could just see Robin like doing flips and like flipping around and twisting around and taking an arrow and bouncing it off and then right between the eyes for Hawkeye, and that's it.
Okay. Ethan, you didn't have to say anything at this point. But go ahead. Let me hear what you got.
All I'm going to say is Robin swinging on trapeze. You'd never catch Hawkeye doing that.
Listen, all you say is that Morgan just said gymnastics in a fight. He's gymnasticking, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And Hawkeye shot a Chitauri off of a motorcycle moving behind his back without looking. And you're like, oh no, he can't hit the guy flipping on a trapeze? No,
yeah.
he's a cushion, buddy. He's a
cushion. Yep. That's all I need.
All right, fair enough.
Now, Robin's friends would jack Ronin up or jack Hawkeye up.
Oh, yeah.
Berg, any of the other Teen Titan characters in their actual like real form, like they all have superpowers. Robin?
Yeah, I mean, Robin's only superpower is that his parents are dead. Like, that was like it. Like, that's it. Yeah.
That's Batman's superpower.
Well, no, but Batman had that superpower plus he had money. Like, Robin just has, like, his parents, he was like a carny whose parents died. I mean, like, that's what he is.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
All right. Hulk versus Superman.
Oh, gosh.
I'll let you two go. No, wait. Who haven't we gone again?
You guys got to face off. Pick one or the other.
Okay. So,
Hulk.
Okay.
I'll take Superman if you want, but honestly, I think Hulk would still win.
Yeah, I mean, we can take whichever one. Okay, argue.
Okay, well, first you need to set the premise of the fight. So, are we talking Professor Hulk or Mindless Hulk? Because that actually matters.
Let's go like Professor
Hulk.
Okay, fine, Professor Hulk. Yeah, he's the moderator. He gets to
then, if you do Professor Hulk, he can outthink Superman, plus have the super strength. So now you've got Hulk ability to break stuff, throw stuff. He's also indestructible, can't be destroyed. So that basically limits Superman's laser eyes. They're equivalent in strength. The only minor, I feel like, edge that Superman has is he can fly, but I mean, Hulk can seriously jump from one side of the planet to the other. So then you put in the strength plus the scientific side, which Superman's smart, but honestly, putting a crystal inside of like an old spaceship and listening to your father talk is not really being technical smart. His whole costume is glasses and a tie. I think Professor Hulk definitely edges him on the brain side, right? You see what I'm saying? He's a little bit superior.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't concede.
And then as far as strength, I don't think that honestly, I feel like it'd probably be a dead match. I'll be honest, I don't know that either of them could kill each other. Unless you give Hulk kryptonite, which is the only weakness Superman has, I think it's basically they literally fight into eternity. Because laser eyes are going to cut Hulk in half, and they've got same strength.
All right, okay. Here's how simple it is. Superman uses his super speed, which Hulk wouldn't be able to react to in time, because Hulk's reaction time isn't like super fast or anything. Sure. So Superman uses his super speed to go around the backside of Hulk, where he grabs around him, bear hugs him, Now takes off, flies him into space, and then chucks him into the sun. Hulk is dead.
I don't think that would kill Hulk.
Hulk can't live through the sun. The gravity alone would crush him and destroy him.
Stuff that's happened, I don't think that would actually kill him.
Oh, you really don't think the sun itself, like plasma, the fourth state of matter.
Plasma. All right, I'm gonna give this one to Ethan.
What is this?
I'm giving it to Ethan because Superman.
You're giving it to Ethan because DC can't lose all of them.
Superman's power is from the sun. Hulk can't survive the sun. Like, he would melt. Superman could just leave him on the sun, and there's nothing Hulk could do. Like,
go and Google this later, right, and figure it out. Right. But now, I don't think the sun could destroy him.
All right. Next matchup.
All right.
Captain America versus Data.
Oh, I really wanted to do this one with you, but I can't because I just did the last one.
No, you guys go again. Go again. I want to see this one.
No. This will be you two. This will be Morgan's Data, and we know what Jeremiah is.
Go for it, Jeremiah.
Oh, Captain America versus Data? God, this isn't fair. Okay, so... Golly, that's a tough one. Data's definitely got him edged on brains and strength. But honestly, man, Cap just doesn't go down. And the other thing is that Data is not bulletproof. Okay, he cannot withstand infinite shots. Okay, he also, I don't think he's stronger based off of the metal he's made out of. He's not stronger than vibranium. Honestly, I saw the Borg tear his skin off, and I saw underneath his positronic, matrix and all that. He's not indestructible. Okay, now that shield is largely indestructible. Okay, so you take that with Captain America's ingenuity, which is honestly his superpower. He's really strong, but honestly, he never gives up. I mean, come on. You literally watched Captain America with his shield cut in half on Endgame. His arm is literally split in two, and he freaking buckles down and was like, let's do this thing. I'm not quitting. So I don't really think that Data can. I actually don't think Data has it in him. Now, it's almost like a Batman thing that we were just talking about. Maybe sometimes Data could win. Let's say 10 fights, Data wins 2 or 3. One of those scenarios is where he calls in a torpedo barrage from the Enterprise from space. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's a scenario where Data wins. But
you just went right to my argument. Because Data...
Data doesn't have the Enterprise in orbit, buddy. That's not the
All right, Morgan. All right, Morgan's turn
Data
now.
just kind of touches Captain America, transports him into space. Captain America can't breathe. Lungs explode in the vacuum of space. Boom, it's done. It's over real quick. It doesn't even take... It's an easy one. He just uses it. He calls to the bridge.
On his shield. Okay, so he holds his breath and he comes back down on his shield. The shield protects him from heat. Okay? Data loses all the way around.
I don't know, man.
What happens when he hits the ground?
He says, "Oof, that hurt," and gets back up. Freaking Captain America. I love Data. You're making it hard here because we have to kill Data.
All right. Let's go to the next one. All right.
I will give my verdict. My verdict is I don't think either person gave a super strong argument. So I am calling this one a draw. I could see how Captain America could beat Data based on your arguments. But the zapping him into space, come on. That was I got to agree with Jeremiah. That was not the best argument for why Data would win. But I'm calling it a draw. It was 50-50, and that's only because I love Data.
Now, if you said that he had come up with some kind of tachyon particle ring and interlocking, transporting beacons and locked him in and then transported him back in time when he was a baby and then kicked him off a cliff, that would have been more convincing.
All right, I'm giving this one up. Don's saying that Ethan won this one. All right. Let's do another Data one, and Ethan, you can take Data this time. Data versus the T-800 from Terminator.
Okay. Oh. You do this one because I don't want to.
All right.
Who's doing it?
I'll take the Terminator.
All right, go.
Okay.
All right, so the T-800, right? So remember, he defeated the T-1000, which is a shape-shifting, can make sharp metal objects, like he wants, you know. T-800, darn near indestructible. You know,
Except
T-800's stronger than Data. T-800 is
Probably.
I mean, probably better armed than Data. Sure, Data's maybe a little bit smarter, and try to transport him. But when Data goes to transport him into outer space, T-800 doesn't matter. He's a robot. It's a robot versus robot. So that there you go.
All right, my argument is very simple. I think that the T-800 is definitely stronger than. I don't know if he's physically stronger, but I think he's tougher. He's built more durably than Data. Data can be ripped into pieces, not by a human, but definitely by the T-800 probably. But Data is like the smartest thing in the universe. Not quite, but pretty much. He's like super smart. And if it were like a fight where they knew that they were preparing for each other, like I am betting on Data and his intelligence. He could fashion any kind of weapon. He would know the types of weapons that would melt the T-800. Where the T-800 can't it's not smart. It's like, oh, shotgun. Here's shot. I can grab shotgun. But it's not like that is not a thing that goes, I wonder if I create this device that creates a small black hole that I can shoot at this T-800. It'll just suck him in and destroy him. Data's that kind of guy. Data would know. T-800 would not. Therefore, Data wins.
Data does. Okay, so this is easy. Data does win.
I gave you that one.
All is a freaking phaser set to kill, and he just literally the T-800 got into a pool of lava and destroyed itself. Like you tell me a phaser isn't hotter than lava? Come on.
All right.
It's about as hot as the sun.
So I think this one's gonna be a weird one because this is our three-way battle that we have. It's Riker versus Kira versus Chakotay.
Okay.
Can I do Riker? Riker? Or Chakotay?
I'll take the last one because I came up with this. So whichever one.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who don't know, these are
still like Kira. Come on, man.
Okay, I'm a big Voyager fan, so I'll take Chakotay. Now, who wants to go first?
Okay, I can go first. Okay, Riker wins. Why does Riker win? Well, I mean, come on, Riker. Like, come on. I mean, the man who can like seduce any lady. He knows when to fight. He also knows when to pout. He knows. No, he more like knows when to pout about not getting to fight. If you think about it, it's like sometimes he has to listen to Picard, but he's not really happy. But he does what Picard says, and usually Picard's right. Sometimes he saves the day with Picard. He's also very physically active. You know, he's always in the hollow deck. He's doing his like flips and his running. You know, always running through the woods. You know, running over the logs. He's doing workouts with Data all the time. He's constantly in there doing fake fighting. He fights with Klingons. I mean, think about it. He does like some Klingon training every once in a while. Like, he's like hanging out with Worf. You know, he knows how to fight. He knows how to throw down. And he has launched a lot of photon torpedoes. So,
Are you done? Are you done?
It's him. Yeah.
That's not true. I don't think he's launched any photon torpedoes. Worf launched a bunch of photon torpedoes.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right,
Morgan.
so Kira, right? So she was a child soldier. She was part of the resistance against the Cardassians. She was fighting since she was a child, like fighting grisly battles. None of these other two guys had a life like that. So she was built for battle. I
better freaking do your homework, homie.
Wait, I barely remember Chakotay. I gotta.
Come on, Chakotay is a warrior.
Okay, right, here we go. Ready?
Oh! Trombone too. I just have to say, Riker and his trombone. You can play a trombone like that.
Yeah,
Win any fight. Okay.
for sure. Okay, so Chakotay is part of the Maquis, who is fighting against the Federation and the Cardassians as a terrorist. So in that regard, he's very similar to Kira. You know, honestly, he's been, you know, he did enter Starfleet, but then when he left, like, it's a pretty rough life doing what he was doing. Like, they were very think outside the box kind of people. They had janky ships fighting superior enemies, using terrain and anomalies and different things to gain advantages. Like, he's pretty much a bad whammy jammy. Okay, on top of the fact that he is Indian, so he's got spirit animals and eagle powers. So when he summons his eagle powers, Riker's already dead. Like, right now, like, you ever seen that movie where, like, the guy that you think is going to be the best guy comes out and then literally he gets hit with a knife, like, right off the bat? It's like, bah, bah, boom, Riker's gone. Like, Kira hit him with a knife, he's over, Riker's out of the equation. Now, Chakotay and Kira, they go at it for a while, but I think Chakotay comes out on top because he's got spirit powers. He's got eagle powers, man. What do you want?
I can't believe you're going there, man.
Dude, how many episodes on Voyager did he freaking, like, go into the spirit world and talk to wolves and stuff? I'm not like... He got some crazy stuff.
All right, and I'm definitely not wading into this one. This is all the two of you. Doctor Who versus Kirk.
Okay. Oh, well, I'll do Doctor Who since he's not a Doctor Who guy. Okay, you want me to start?
Go for it.
You can start. I don't understand anything you're saying, so go ahead.
Okay, Doctor Who, like, with TARDIS or without TARDIS? Moderator.
Okay, yeah.
Without, because, I mean, is it Kirk with the Enterprise or Kirk without? Like, you know...
It could be Kirk with the Enterprise.
All right, let's make this more interesting. Doctor Who with TARDIS, Kirk with the Enterprise.
Okay. So, Doctor Who, problem is he doesn't kill anybody, but he would go back in time to when Kirk was a small baby and kidnap him away from his parents, raise him as his own child. And then when they got to the point where Kirk would have fought him, they'll actually just be friends, you know? Like, he can go back in time. I mean, he can go forward in time, backward in time at will. The other thing is, if it's hand to hand, I mean, Kirk is just a human. But, you know, Doctor Who is not a human. And he has two hearts, and he's kind of strong. And the other thing is, you can't really kill Doctor Who. He just regenerates and comes back as a different Doctor. So kind of by the very nature, you kind of can't kill him. I don't think that Kirk would be smart enough to figure out the type of weapon he would have to get to actually kill Doctor Who.
He doesn't have to be. He has the Enterprise. Hey, Spock, how do we kill this Yoo-hoo? Well, sir, we could do this, and we could set a vortex field. Actually, you know what? Here's how we defeat the TARDIS and Doctor Who. We eject the dang warp core and shoot a torpedo at it. You just died. Do you know what happens when the warp core explodes? Nobody knows! All the problems. There's a TARDIS behind the ship. Eject the warp core. Blow it up. Look, the TARDIS and Doctor Who were sucked into whatever happens inside the warp core when it explodes, and now you're dead.
Doctor Who flips the TARDIS into gear, surfs the explosion wave back in time. He's gone. He's like...
Obviously, you need to educate yourself when someone ejects the warp core. You need to go watch a few episodes of Star Trek. Like, you're not understanding what's happening.
I'm calling this one. It's Kirk. I mean, like...
All right.
All right. Next we have... All right. I actually want to pick one of these sides. Voldemort versus Darth Sidious. And I would like to take Darth Sidious.
Ooh, you two. Okay.
You're going to take Darth Sidious?
I'm going to take Darth Sidious. Go for it, Voldemort.
You're like basically like a Hufflepuff in the flesh.
I'm hardcore Harry Potter, and that's exactly why I'm taking Sidious. Go for it.
So you could kill Voldemort? Oh, my God.
No, not even. I'll explain. But go. I want to hear what you have first.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't like Voldemort that much. I kind of want him to lose. So... why do I think he would beat Sidious? Is because Sidious is a decrepit old man. Like, he doesn't actually do anything. He's just really manipulative. And honestly, Voldemort is just, honestly, he actually has skills in his belt. Like, he can do things. Crucio, the Cruciatus, Avada Kedavra. Like, one killing curse, and Sidious is not regenerating. He's not having some weird final episode with Rey in the future of his granddaughter. I mean, all that just ceases to exist as soon as he gets killed by the curse. The Zapparate. Can he summon Death Eaters? Does he have all the other bad, evil creatures? I mean, literally, if Voldemort showed up in the Star Wars universe, everything evil would just come to him because he literally just draws it to him and controls them. So honestly, Sidious would probably be working for him. Honestly.
All right.
Honestly, Voldemort so bad that he would probably just turn Sidious into a piece of his soul. Like, he would basically like cut his soul again and make him a
Let's just look at Voldemort's track record here, right? So he comes back, and the best he can do is he can kill a teenager at a high school sporting event. Then he kind of tries to get people to come together and do some stuff, and it kind of makes a little progress. But he has his big culmination as a ruler. He tries to take over a high school, and he can't even take over a high school. He fails to take over a high school because he improperly grabs the special one. Meanwhile, Sidious, what's he been doing? He's taken over the entire universe. He's manipulating the Senate. He's shooting force laser beams and electricity out of his hands. Like, it's just not even a question. It's not even close. So I rest my case.
All right, I have to be completely honest. I didn't think I would agree with you, Morgan, but you just made Voldemort look like a complete moron, so I'm giving it to Morgan.
All right, next one.
I'm arguing for a villain who got killed by a 17-year-old. Like, yeah. On the flip side, so did Sidious. Let's just be clear.
All right. So the next one, what are we skipping?
We're going to Dumbledore versus Obi-Wan. We're staying in the Harry Potter Star Wars realm.
I'm taking Obi-Wan.
I'll take Dumbledore there.
All right, yeah, you two go. I would have done Gandalf, but I'm not down for.
Go. I can give respect to Dumbledore. He's a bad dude. Okay, but he's not prepared for the different things that are coming at him from Jedi. Okay, force push, mind control. I understand that they have a spell. I understand that. Like, he could get a spell off. Okay, but the other thing is that the lightsaber has been known to deflect energies. And what is a spell if not an energy coming out of a wand? So the lightsaber defends him versus, and honestly, no wizard, I don't care what wizard you do, you can choose any of the wizards from Harry Potter, none of them have reflexes like a Jedi. Okay, none of them are literally blocking hundreds of stormtrooper lasers because they can't hit the barn. You know what I'm saying? Like, on top of, like, reflecting them back at people. So Obi-Wan's faster. He's got force powers. He can jump out of the way of spells. Dumbledore, now, the other thing is, honestly, I'm helping you here. If you're talking like Dumbledore from Fantastic Beasts, where he's not old and decrepit, I'd say he has a better chance. If we're talking Dumbledore, Harry Potter, I love that guy, but he's flying off the edge of that tower just like he did in the movie. Like, basically, you saw Dumbledore die from the force push off the edge. Like, that was it.
All I'm going to do is this. I am going to say, sure, I'm going to give you the handicap of, I'll do old 120-some-odd-year-old Dumbledore. And all he's going to have to do is take one bubble charm that he casts non-verbally, and Obi-Wan is now trapped in a bubble. What's he going to do inside a bubble? He can force push all he wants. All he's doing is force pushing inside. He's like a hamster in a hamster ball rolling around on the floor trying to wave his lightsaber and do something. He's not doing anything. No, because he's trapped in a bubble charm, a simple little bubble charm. So, yeah, that is why Dumbledore beats Obi-Wan.
That bubble, even non-verbally, that bubble still has to travel to the person and encapsulate them. At that point, it's like, you ever been a kid with a bubble and you hit it with a stick? What happens to the bubble? The bubble goes away.
That's not a bubble charm, man. That's not a bubble charm. Obi-Wan's nothing but a hamster.
All right. I have to actually go with Morgan on this one. I think Dumbledore would kick Obi-Wan's butt.
I disagree.
All right.
He's got magic.
All right.
He's got magic.
You know, we had one other matchup with Harry Potter stuff, but I feel like it was kind of a dumb one. It was Harry Potter versus Gandalf. I mean, because I'll argue against Harry Potter all day on this one.
I'll do Gandalf.
All right.
I'll do Gandalf. Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. Are you doing
I'll
Harry
take
Potter?
Harry Potter. Watch. No. I'm anti Harry Potter on this one, so I'd be the wrong guy.
Oh no, but so am I.
That's right. You are. You're going to argue it because that's what it feels like when you're arguing. You're having to argue with the guy you know is going to lose. This is what it feels like.
All right. If I'm going to argue for Harry Potter, you got to go first then.
Okay. Gandalf is a real wizard from real life. Okay? Like, Gandalf once existed. He was a real guy. I'm not serious about that. But my point is it's way more believable. Gandalf's story is like from the past, and he doesn't like do a little spell and then something shoots out of his wand. He carries a sword because he actually is going to chop your head off, stab you with his sword. He does his spells are like more like, hey, I'm gonna make an orb that protects me, then I stab you with my sword. And his sword was made by elves. It's like one of the strongest swords ever. It's called Galadriel, right? His sword, and he has a sword. He rides a horse.
The Lord of
what? Honestly,
wait, you wanted to take Gandalf in this argument? I'm confused.
I wanted to do Gandalf. So what would happen? He's on his horse. He comes riding on his horse with his staff and a sword drawn. Harry Potter would just run away, scared. He wouldn't know what to do. So Gandalf all the way.
All right.
Gandalf.
Okay,
Gandalf.
I'm going to do this just to prove both you and Alicia O'Toole wrong on this one. So Harry Potter is going to consult with his team because Harry Potter is, throughout the entire series, is like not remarkable at all in any situation. It's all about really leveraging Ron and Hermione and Dumbledore and Sirius and like the whole Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore's army, like all those. That's what Harry Potter does. He's like the bringer together, and so I'm not exactly sure what he would do other than he would like knock that sword right out of Gandalf's hand with one quick Expelliarmus because he's always quick with that draw. And then effectively Hermione would come in with the time turner, set time all the way back to the point where Gandalf's a little baby, and then, Harry Potter would, do a Voldemort right on Gandalf, and then we're done. I don't know. It really is hard to argue for Harry Potter in this one.
No, Gandalf has to win this one. Someone even brought up here, Harry Potter once wielded a sword. Have you seen the differences? That's like a toothpick for like shish kebab and stuff, and a sword. Like cut the head off the King of Goblins sword. That's not the same thing.
Hey, cut the head off Nagini.
Also, but there's a difference. Okay, it didn't cut the head off of Nazgul, I'll tell you that. Gandalf clearly wins. I think Harry Potter has a better chance than we were able to argue for him. Like, he can still disapparate and go to a different place. Like, Gandalf still has to ride a horse and get around. Like, come on. There are advantages. Like, honestly, Harry Potter has a much larger spell book of different things he could do. Do I think it penetrates Gandalf's, solid 6 spells that we've ever seen him cast? No. I don't think it's strong enough, but I don't think that it's like a complete wipe the floor with them. Honestly, I think he gets his feelings hurt, and him and Ron get into a fight, and they disapparate and go build a tent, and they go camping for the next 6 months. Running away. I think it's probably what happened.
All right, so I think that was our final battle, right? Yeah.
Final battle.
All right, then
We are on.
I can't wait until they release. What are you guys waiting for?
They haven't released anything, so I'm still waiting for the same stuff. Nothing's come out. They've brought nothing out. Like, nothing's happening. Discovery's been postponed because of the virus stuff. Let's see. They still haven't given us a new date for...
I'm telling you, I know what I can't wait until they release. I want to see somebody create and I hope somebody's watching this and they steal this idea. I want to see somebody create a sci-fi either film or TV show that is based entirely and shot entirely within Zoom, where it's everybody in these like little boxes and they figure out a way to contrive and create a setting for it. And then it's a sci-fi show that takes place with everybody in a different place. And they're all just connected through a horrible video conferencing service. And it drives them all insane. I feel like that would be a very watchable sci-fi piece. And I hope somebody creates that in the next 12 months.
This seems like it's hitting a little close to home.
It so does. It's you can tell where I've been spending my days.
Yeah. Sounds like a good place.
Lots of meetings.
Oh yeah.
Lots of planning. Oh, that's a pet peeve of mine. Meetings and planners, meeting planner people. Business. You have the types who are always planning, and they're the idea people, and they want to have meetings all the time. Like, I actually want to get something done today. That's actually one of my bigger pet peeves. I just want to get something accomplished. I don't want to be in your meeting. Can we just talk real quick? Like,
seriously, we'll go to do something here on the farm, and it'll be like, just go get on the notebook and be like, all right, let's discuss it. And I'm like, can we just go do it? Like, let's just get outside and start throwing stuff together. Like, so we're kind of opposite in that, so we kind of balance each other out. But I get that. I don't have any meetings except for my boss, so it's just me and her, and we're in person. Discovery, Mandalorian 2.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned the Dark Crystal. I have not seen the Dark Crystal because honestly, the Dark Crystal original movie was kind of like freaky to me, anyways, with all the puppets and stuff. And I'm like, I don't really need to revisit my childhood of freaky dreams. Like, I haven't seen the Dark Crystal season.
I love Dark Crystal. Yeah. I think it's because I was like a couple years old. I'm like a couple years older than you, and so. When I was seeing it as a kid, it was like cool and interesting, not so terrifying that I'd be like, oh God, I don't want to deal with this ever. You should watch the original movie. I would recommend that. Like, go back and
yeah,
like
I've seen
recently.
That. Maybe in like the last 6 or 7 years.
All right, then. If it doesn't do it for you, it doesn't do it for you.
No, good. It's just like, honestly, I got used to get movies confused when I was younger. And I always confused the Dark Crystal with Willow.
Oh, right.
Like,
yeah.
which came
sure.
And I really liked Willow, but then I realized that I liked Willow, and I was thinking it was Dark Crystal, and it was two different things. And then somewhere in there mixed up is that Tom Cruise one with the weird demon and all that. And then, like, that's all around the same time frame that I watched them all.
Yeah, it's like mid-80s sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah. Well, it's not bad. It's, you know what I have enjoyed is the reboot of Voltron.
I haven't seen that.
Didn't know they
yet.
remade
I should
it.
see that.
Harpoon of Voltron is actually very well done. It's honestly something that Toby, Ezra, and Ben, we only watch it together whenever they come out with a new season. And so it's been pretty good. I'm waiting for them to finish. I started watching the Clone Wars, the final season, but their episodes are so short. I'm like, I need more than 20 minutes of information. So I'm waiting for them to finish releasing it so I can watch it all at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's how I've done those before too. Yeah.
It looks pretty good though. Mandalorian season 2 looks good. Unfortunately, the Middle Earth series being made by Amazon is obviously being postponed because of Corona. So I don't know how
on hold.
Take. There is a new season of a show off of Netflix that's I think is pretty good. Last Kingdom. It's almost like Vikings but more accurate.
Hey, actually, Don's asking about what about the Obi-Wan show?
Okay, so I've been following that one pretty close. They took it from 8 episodes down to 6 episodes, and then the coronavirus stuff happened, and I haven't heard anything since then. But it was not supposed to release until 2021, so I don't have anything definitive. They say it's still happening. As far as what it's about and all that, they haven't released anything. So we're good to, we're a solid year away from any kind of information as far as the Kenobi show. But supposedly it's still going forward. So that's good. But honestly, like, it's sad to say, but I'm more excited about Ahsoka Tano being in Mandalorian than I am about Kenobi getting a show going backwards in time. Backwards. Like, because, like, this is moving forward. Like, they actually could. This is where Star Wars should have gone with the reboot with J.J. Abrams, but they lacked people with any kind of vision. And so they basically just rebuilt the movies from before with a little bit better graphics and worse characters. So this is actually, for me, where they're going with Mandalorian and bringing Ahsoka Tano in. This, for me, like, I'll just never think of everything that happened in the last 3 movies. Like, that just never happened for me. And this is where Star Wars is going. Honestly, that's how I view it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it too, for sure. I mean, yeah, I just actually rewatched Rise of Skywalker, and yeah, that's such a bad movie. I watched it in the theater, and I was like, yeah, this is all right. It's not bad. No, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and honestly, we could spend a whole episode just breaking down the badness of that movie. Like, seriously, it would take a whole episode just to talk about the dumb stuff that they did. But just, like, one little point in general, like, how did all those ships navigate that tunnel that took the other single smaller ships much longer to navigate? And then they somehow got 50,000 ships through that one space. How?
It's just because
how?
Plot hole.
Do not think about the details. Do not think about the details.
So it took them 16 years to build a Death Star. Okay, it took them how many years between New Hope and Return of the Jedi? Like, probably 6 years maybe? I don't know the exact timeline, but it was a few years to get the second one not even finished, just enough to try to shoot it at stuff, right? And you're telling me that the First Order, in half the amount of time, built a Star Killer planet, and Sidious, who's a decrepit old puppet thing, built an entire fleet of ships. Do you know why the Death Star was so big? Because it needed to be that big to harness the amount of power you would need to blow up a planet. Do you know how stupid it is to put that inside of a Star Destroyer-sized ship and then have 100 of them? Like, they're all planet destroyers. I'm like, really? Like, do you just, like, I feel like J.J. Abrams is actually a Star Trek fan, and he purposely took that job to, like, no other writer or director could do that. Like, it was like, oh, I know what I can do. I can do this, so flickety-doo-doo-doo. And then it just stuck. Like, look what I did, guys. I ruined Star Wars for everybody. Stuck. We can't do anything about it.
All right. What recommendations do you guys have?
I'm glad I sold this for $5 billion. Like, this was so worth it.
I will recommend another book, Starship Troopers by Robert Heinlein.
The original?
Heinlein.
Classic.
Yeah. The original Starship Troopers book. That's, like, great, classic sci-fi. Read it. It says, like, kind of like he's trying to, there's a whole political sort of points through it.
Sure.
And
if you'd like to know more, please click here.
Yes, exactly. So, anyway, I would recommend that. I think that's a great. I'm a more sci-fi literature type person or reading. I mean, I watch films too, obviously, but I definitely like reading the classic stuff. So
cool. Has anyone ever seen The Grandfather to the Matrix?
No, what's that?
What is this?
Okay, so there's a movie
called The Grandfather to the Matrix,
and literally, I feel like if it's not, it has to. To me, there's no way. You just have to watch it. It's called Equilibrium with Christian Bale. Talk about the Paladin, like that whole style of like, and it's not. Just watch the movie and let me know what you think, because if you haven't seen it, it's this Matrixy style of film, not like the post-apocalyptic world kind of thing, but like the fighting style, where it's like it's almost like gunjitsu, where it's like these certain points are like the maximum accuracy points and all this. Now, this is before they did not invent the whole camera thing where you can freeze and like pan around, but just the style, like the fighting, and you just have to watch it. It really, and it came out.
This is the one where. This is the one where you're not supposed to have any feelings, right?
Yeah, where they take a
yeah, I've seen it.
It's feelings. The Wachowskis?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've seen that. That is good. And the whole premise is he hunts down people who want to feel things and stop taking their drugs to stop them. Because they all take drugs to stop feeling. Say it again?
I thought it was one of Christian Bale's better movies.
Yeah, it was really good. I agree. That was a good movie.
It got a lot of attention because it came out around the same year as Matrix came out.
All right.
Yeah, the two of them together, that's a tough. I mean, Matrix was definitely on another level.
That one came out of nowhere. All right, here's mine. Here's my recommendation. It's a classic.
All right.
And I just started rewatching all of them, and it's so good. The '90s animated X-Men series. Which, if they ever actually made a good series of X-Men movies, they should just base it off of that and the way they did that series. Because that was like, it covers all the major plot lines, stitches all the characters together, keeps it balanced, keeps it interesting. It was great. And like, I hadn't watched it in, I don't know, 25 years or so. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. So for anybody who can get access to it, it's totally worth it.
Dude, I remember watching that. As a young that was my Wolverine. You were supposed to see this.
Snickety snick. All right, guys. I think we're at the time.
We are at the time.
I thought that was
a
fun.
good one.
Yeah, it was good talking to you guys.
Thanks for coming out.
And thank
Mellow
you.
Meadows Garden.
Yeah, appreciate it.
O'Toole. Mongolian Mapping made it. Little Mountain Life. Who else was here? Sarah.
More this week, last week. So
14 other people.
With myself.
Thank you so much,
guys. We really appreciate it. We'd probably be talking like this even if you weren't here, but it's nice to have people here as well. So.
That's true.
I think the whole point of this is that we would be talking exactly like this.
I think that's exactly,
so.
I think that's what we're doing.
Right.
Cool. All right, cool.
All right. Well, it was nice talking to y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.